He's much louder than I am at all times, so, but he has to be. So this is a very simple schematic that actually all of us learn when we first come into fire college, but it actually works very well to explain the system. The system is made, as we talked about, it's gravity fed, and the concern was basically that if we're surrounded on three sides by water, if our supply from Hetch Hetchy broke, we would be in a lot of trouble. So what they decided to do was create a 10.5 gallon reservoir at the top of Twin Peaks, and below that there's a 500,000 gallon tank at Ashbury Tank. And Jones Street Tank, which is at Jones and Clay, top of Nob Hill, also holds another 750,000 gallons. Now the great thing about the system, we've all seen these different colored hydrants through the city, right, the fat hydrants. The great thing about the system is that if I need more water or more pressure anywhere in the system, I can call on the radio and actually just say, can you introduce water from Ashbury? So by introducing Ashbury, they open some valves and the pressure increases because of gravity. So if this hydrant had 150 pounds on it, and I'm fighting a very large fire, what I do is I say, introduce Ashbury. When they introduce Ashbury, the pressure at that hydrant goes up to about 225 pounds. And you know, if we're fighting large fires, multiple fires, we definitely need the volume and the pressure. And then, to take it the next step, is if, let's say that's not enough water. I can get back on the radio, I say, I don't have enough water, introduce Twin Peaks. And this can actually happen. This isn't just post-earthquake. This could be a fire today in the Bayview. This could happen. I can say introduce Twin Peaks. Now, the gravity is coming all the way down 750 feet, all the way down through to the same hydrant. And that hydrant now can have 328 pounds of pressure in it. So one of the amazing things about the system was not only are the pipes more resilient, and there are no service connections to houses, so it's completely dedicated for firefighting use, but that's just normal daily operations. If we need more pressure, we can increase the pressure. Parts, now let's say that we've used the system normally and we've now increased the pressure and we still need more water or we have some other problem going on. We can actually use the fire boats through the manifolds here, and this is actually a picture, you can't really see it very well, but if you've ever seen it, it's a very long white pipe along the Embarcadero. The fire boats can pump salt water into that system through hoses that they carry on the fireboat, and the Phoenix, which is the boat that wasn't here today, that was the Guardian. The Phoenix can pump about 9,600 gallons a minute of salt water into the system, and the Guardian about 24,000 gallons of water. So between the two of them, we can supply 35,000 gallons of salt water into the system. Interestingly, when Chief Sullivan created the system, or thought about creating the system in 1905, this entire system was thought to be made out of salt water. They wanted it to be salt water, but salt water corrodes. It puts fires out better, but it corrodes, so we used up the fresh. The place where we are right now is Pump Station 2. There are two pump stations. One at 2nd and Townsend, right kitty corner from Paragon. And no, I don't own part of Paragon, that wasn't a plug. But that's a lot of people know that. So, and this is Pump Station 2. Pump Station 1 is fed from an underground tunnel about 1,500 feet long that actually spits out by behind Pier 40 Cafe. So it comes underground all the way up Townsend, and at any time of day, fire department headquarters has about 100,000 gallons of fresh water in the basement, of salt water in the basement. Pump Station 2, same principle, but since it's shorter throw to the water, it's about a 300-foot pipe. Pipes are 5 feet in diameter, and anywhere you see, when you walk through, you'll see there's the concrete floor, and then there are some plates over there. Anywhere that there's a plate, you can actually pull the plate off and look down and see salt water. Now, the great thing about the system, and this is where the engineering marvel part comes in, is the water comes in through here. These brown pumps were actually designed, we think they were built around 1905, installed, or probably 1908, installed in 1908 or 1909. They've been remachined in 1986, but the pump casings themselves are built so well that they're supposed to have another 100 years in them. So by pulling salt water that's in the building into the pumps, we can actually supply Twin Peaks Reservoir with salt water from here, which is amazing. And as I said, the primary use of the salt water would be if all the domestic water breaks and we can't refill that domestically, then we can use our dedicated system and fill Twin Peaks with salt water. So the whole system's pretty amazing. And what you'll see when you walk through, we have 4 pumps. They can come online in 5 minutes or less. The building is staffed 24 hours a day. And in the event of any emergency that we have, we just call, they fire up the engine. We can have water moving somewhere throughout the system, wherever we need it, if we needed it, in about 5 minutes. And saltwater, since it corrodes so much, is our last choice, but it's good to have a last choice. So that's when we've used our regular system, we've used the altitude, we've used all this, and now we need something else. But to have the foresight to think of 5 layers of redundancy besides the domestic water plant is something that's really amazing. And what you'll see when you walk through is the grate runs the length of the building. So we think it's probably about a 80-foot long, 7-foot wide, 20-foot deep sunk trench that holds all the salt water. And all the pipes pointing down are the ones that pull the water up. And that's about everything. Just at least with regard to the system. Now, the last